everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace using products from Sam's Bead Box December 2021, which I just unboxed a few minutes ago and uploaded. So if you're interested in Sam's Bead Box, you can watch that. I'll link it in the description box below this video. And I have a coupon code for Sam's Box. It is Wendy ! And that will get you $5 off of your first month's box. So it's a really good deal. Our encouraging word for today is love overcomes every obstacle, and that is very true. True love. Let's say it that way. True love overcomes every obstacle. So, all right. So today we're going to make a necklace. So let me show you everything you're going to need for this. We're going to be using the beautiful pyrite beads that were in Sam's box this month and the bicone beads. So we've got both of those here. We're going to be using this gold hematite, which, oh, I love this. I think it is so, so pretty. And I've made dangles out of some of it. And I can tell that that one needs to have its little part tucked right here. But I will show you how I did these. These are just little wrap loop dangles. I just did a bunch of them to save time because it takes a while to make them. Let me tuck that in. Okay. So you're going to need that. You're going to need 5 of these round, I guess they're drucks. I need to look on the, what are these? These are 12 millimeter, I believe. Let's see here. Oh, I can't find them really quickly, but Lacy coin texture drop. Okay, check glass druck round ornaments. Okay, so these are 8. Yeah, they are 12 millimeter. They're called check glass druck round ornaments in bronze luster. Okay, we're going to be using those. We are going to be using this Tiara Cast teardrop pendant piece. I have got a bunch of bead caps. Now, these are from my own stash. These are some little tiny 4 millimeter ones. I've got some 8 millimeter ones and some 6 millimeter ones. Not sure what all I'll use, but that's completely optional. You don't have to have those at all for this. And then I have some gold chain, and let me see what I have. And I've got a lobster claw attached to the one piece already. And these are about 6.5 inch lengths of chain. I do have an extender on this one and a lobster on this one. Okay, I have 2 size 2x2 Beadalon crimp tubes. I have 1 gold ball head pin, 1 antique bronze eye pin, and you're going to need a bunch of antique bronze ball head pins if you want. You can use gold if you want, or you can use whatever colors you want, but I'm using antique bronze. And then I have 2 antique bronze clamshell connectors. And other than that, I think all you're going to need will be your jewelry tools. I'm using crimping pliers, my regular chain nose, round nose, and possibly cutters. Well, definitely cutters. And some jump rings. You're going to need jump rings. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, and tiger tail. Let me not forget that. So I'm using 19 strand Beadalon tiger tail in satin gold. And I haven't cut this yet because I'm not sure how long I need it to be. All right, so get everything together, and that's what we're going to use today. So this is going to be double strand and going down into a single strand. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my tiger tail here. And I always cut a little extra more than what I need just because I want to be sure that I have enough. So I think this is probably, let me see how big this is. This is probably a 7 inch, nope, 8 inch, no, 8.5, about an 8.5 inch length. And I'm going to cut 2 of those, okay? So 2 8.5 inch lengths of tiger tail. All right, there we have it. Okay, now I am going to grab out my bead bugs because I don't want to lose everything off the end of my chain or off my tiger tail. And we're just going to get started. So I think what I'll do is make the pendant piece first. So for that, I'm going to be using this ball head pin, this teardrop piece, one of these little ornament beads, and a bicone. And I think I am going to use these little bead caps on it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a bead cap on, put my ornament bead on, and these bead caps, you got to push them down on there because they're kind of almost like filigree, but not quite. So I'm just going to shove them down on here. Make sure that they are down on my bead really well, and then I'm going to put my bicone on. And that's what I've got. Let me see if it's going to hang. I think it is going to hang fine in here. And I'm going to make a wrapped loop. So what I'm going to do is come up a little bit from my bicone, and I'm going to bend this 90 degrees. Then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm not going to make I'm going to make about a medium size loop because it needs to go through here, okay, through this, and this is a little thick. So I'm going to go up and over. I'm going to rotate my pliers up, and I'm going to come around, but I'm going to leave that loop open. If you can see there, I am not closing the loop. There we go. I'm going to take my pliers out, and I'm just going to insert this right here into this little teardrop piece. Okay, and I want to make sure that it hangs okay. And it may need to come up just a bit. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to pull it back out. And I'm just going to go down a little closer to the bicone. Let me get it back out of here. To make my bend. Okay, so I'm going to straighten this back up a little bit. And then I'm just going to go down here a little closer to the bicone to make the bend. Right on top of it pretty much, because I want it to kind of dangle in there. And then I'm going to come back, and I might make my loop a little smaller this time, just so I have a little extra room. Rotate these up and come on around. Now let's try it now and see if it dangles a little bit better. I don't want to have to use a jump ring on it because that's going to make it too far down. So let me go ahead and just get this on the teardrop. I closed it up too much. Open it back up a little bit. There we go. And put it right in there. And now I think it's going to dangle pretty good. If I can get it in, I may have made my loop too small this time. Takes a little trial and error sometimes, but yeah, that's going to work really good. Okay, so I've got my wire coming up, over, and around. What I'm going to do is grab this. This is a little fiddly, but you can do it. Grab this with my pliers, the loop that I've got going on here. And I'm just going to bring it around here. There we go. You just have to keep this teardrop kind of out of the way, and it is a little bit difficult to do, but you can do it. And then wrap. And you just really need to wrap a couple of times. It just needs wrapped enough to be secure on there. Okay. And then, let me make sure, and it does dangle in there good. So I'm just going to cut my excess wire right here. Okay, sorry, the trash truck's outside. Okay, so there we have it, and you can straighten it up if it's a little crooked, but that's cute. I like it. Okay, so that is part of our pendant piece. Now we're going to take our eye pin here, and for this we are going to have to use a jump ring because this is too thick for the eye pin to fit through. So I'm just going to grab a small jump ring here, probably a 6mm one. There we go, that'll work. I'm going to open it right up and put it right on my teardrop piece. Okay, right here. And then I'm just going to take my eye pin and put it right on there and close it up. Okay, now what I have done is I have made a bunch of dangles with these hematite pieces, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I made a wrapped loop on each one using a ball head pin. Some of them I left plain, and then some of them I did 2 on, if you can see this, and some of them I just did 1. It's just varying. I mean, it was a completely random, but you'll see why here in a second. So to make your wrapped loop on here, you take your ball head pin and you put your piece on here. You come up a little from the bead. We're doing the same thing we did a minute ago. Bend it 90 degrees. And then we're going to take our pliers, come up and over, rotate your plier up, go all the way around and under. So there's what you got. And then we're going to take our plier and grab that little loop, and I just wrap with my fingers because these are so thin. You don't have to use pliers. You can if you want, or if you're using a regular head pin, you would probably want to use plier, but these are so thin. And then if there's any little snaggy part, I'm just going to tuck it in there with my pliers, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang these just like this on this piece. I'm going to do about 3, and then use a small piece of the hematite and put it directly on the eye pin, and then do about 3 more, okay? And this is just creating a cute little cluster here. I'm doing some that have 2, some that have 1. I'm just doing 4 or 5, and then I'm going to do another piece of this hematite directly onto the eye pin. And see what that's doing? It's just making a little cluster there. I'm going to do a couple more here. That is probably enough. And then I'm just going to make a loop, and I am going to make a wrapped loop. So I'm just going to bend this 90 degrees, just like that. I am going to go up and over and around. Okay, and I'm going to grab this loop with my pliers, and with my other plier, because this is a regular head pin, it's a little thicker, I'm going to use my plier to wrap. Okay, and just coming right around here. I'm going to wrap around several times. And you want to get down to where your beads don't flop around a whole lot. So you want to wrap down kind of close to where your beads are, and it just kind of holds them in place. Okay. Just down and around like that. Okay. And then I'm going to cut that off. Make sure I don't cut my little dangle. I really need to sharpen my cutters. They're really dull. Okay. And there's what we have. Okay. Now it's going to hang directly on our tiger tail, and it's going to hang in the middle of everything. It's going to be a center focal piece. So what I'm going to do is take my tiger tail, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some of these on either side. I may have to make some more dangles. But I'm doing 2 on either side, then I'm going to do 1 directly on the tiger tail. Okay. And then I'm going to do a couple more on either side, 2 or 3. Whoops. That one just flew off. There we go. Okay. Another 2 or 3 over here. Probably 3. And it's just making another little cluster. I really like these. I think it's so cute. I'm going to do another couple of these on the tiger tail, 1 on each side. And then I'm going to create, I need to make a few more dangles because I want it to be a little, I want it to come up here. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to use, I don't know, whatever I've got here. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 9. I'm going to make about 9 more dangles. So make as many dangles as you want and come on back. Okay, so I'm back with all my dangles, and I'm just going to go ahead and put 3 on this side, 3 on this side, get on there, okay, one on the chain on each side, directly onto it. And then I'm going to do 2 on this side. And I've just got 1 left, but it's a double, so 1 on that side. And I think I will do 1 more on each side of the chain. And Sam, I hope you have these for sale later, because I really want to buy more of them. I love these. I'd love to make a bracelet to go with this too. They're so pretty. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our little clusters right here. And now I'm going to take these bigger beads, okay, and I'm going to do a bead cap. Maybe. The bigger bead, the ornament bead, and a bead cap. Same thing on the other side. It's okay if you can leave this laying on your mat and not pick it up, but if you're going to try to pick it up and bead, make sure you put some sort of stopper on the other end, because, you know, that's annoying when everything falls off. Okay, another bead cap. Actually, do I want to do, yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. Another bead cap, this bead, and another bead cap. Okay, and same thing over here. Another bead cap, this little bead here, and 1 more bead cap. Okay, now I need to push these down because these bead caps, like I said before, they tend to be they tend to pop up. So let me go ahead and put a big bug over here so I don't lose my whole strand of beads. Okay, and I'm just going to take this and kind of shove it on both ends so that these bead caps will kind of form around the beads, because these tend to be they're filigree, almost filigree, but they're very thin, and I just want to make sure that they're formed around the bead really nicely. That looks pretty good. Give this one a little shove right here. There we go. Okay, so there it is. All right, now I'm going to put, whoa, you see what I just about did? Just about pulled it off with my bead bug. Why is he stuck on here? There we go. Okay, I'm going to put a bicone on the end of each one of these, just because I feel like it gives it a little finished look. And then I'm going to set this aside for just a moment, okay? So just set this one aside, and we're going to work on our second one. Now for this one, we need the pyrite beads and the bicones. And I might use these little bead caps, we'll see. All right, so all I'm going to do on this one is just kind of alternate the pyrite beads and the bicones. So I'm going to do, let me see, a bicone first. And then I think I will do a bead cap, pyrite bead, yeah, bead cap, and then I'm going to do that again. Bead cap, pyrite bead, and another of these little tiny bead caps, and then a bicone. Yeah, I like that little pattern right there. So I'm going to put my bead bug on this end, and I'm just going to create the little pattern doing that till I'm almost to the end of my tiger tail. So again, bead cap, pyrite bead, bead cap, and another bead cap back to back with that one, pyrite bead, bead cap, and a bicone. Okay, and I'm just going to keep repeating that pattern till I get down here toward the end. Okay, so I've beaded up most of this piece here, and in order to make it fit together with this one underneath it, I need to add some beads on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some bicones on there, just the plain little bicones, just like this. So I'm going to put about 4 more on each side, and then we'll see how that measures. Three, and 1 more on this side. Okay. And that is a little bit closer to what I'm wanting, but I am going to have to take some off of here. So I'm just going to take the second set off right here, or this last set. And now let's look at it. Now it's pretty close. I'm going to add 1 bicone to each one of these. And a bicone over here. And that should just about do it. See how it's going to hang? Just like this. And I really like it. Yeah, I like it. That looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this bead bug on here. Okay, now this end is what I'm going to work with this end first. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little clamshell cover, and you may have to take your beading awl and just make this hole just a tad bit bigger, and you can do that. And then I'm going to take my tiger tail and put right in here, just side by side, okay? And then I'm going to take this crimp bead and I'm going to put it on, and I want to make sure that my tiger tail pieces are laying side by side, that they are not crossed over, okay? And then I'm going to take my crimping pliers and I'm going to crimp that right down to where each piece of tiger tail is going in its own little channel, okay? Then I'm going to turn my crimp pliers sideways and I'm going to close that crimp up. Just like this. Okay, then I'm going to take my clamshell cover up here. I'm going to trim these off. And I'm going to close this right up over the crimp. And there we have it. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your beads are in there kind of tight, not super tight. You don't want them like stick straight to where they poke out funny, but you just want them, you know, laying in there tight and kind of comfortable. And then you're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to take my little clamshell, make that hole just a tad bit bigger. Put my 2 pieces of tiger tail in here. Take my crimp, put it on. Come on now. The other side cooperated. You need to cooperate too. Okay. Pull this down. Make sure that these are not crisscrossed, okay? And go down to where it's all the way. And then I'm just going to take my pliers. It's a little bit more fiddly on this side because you don't have quite as much room as you did on the other side. But I'm just going to crimp that. Whoops, I have my clamshell in there, there we go. Get him out of there and crimp it right down. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to turn it sideways and close it right up. Making sure that I don't squeeze my clamshell. Okay, and pull on it to make sure it's tight and it looks good. And I'm going to trim that right off. Bring my clamshell cover up and close it right up over that crimp. Okay, and there we have our little focal piece. All right, that's closed good. Okay, now we're just going to attach our chain on the sides. Now, if you wanted to do some sort of like a connector here, you could do maybe, you know, an eye pin and do some of these pieces if you wanted right here. That would be kind of pretty. I think I'm just going to leave it like it is because I kind of just want it to be simple. And so I'm just going to connect my chain on either side. Now you can do it with a jump ring or not, and I'm going to try to do it without a jump ring. I'm going to try, see if that'll fit through there. And it doesn't really want to, so I'm going to do it with a jump ring. It was a good valiant effort, but I'm not going to force it. And I don't want it, I want it to hang well too, and if it's too tight in there, it's not going to hang really pretty. So we'll close that chain piece back up and grab 2 jump rings. I'm just going to use the same thing, 6mm, little 6mm jump rings. Or actually, I may go down to a 4. I think I would do these 4mm because they'll be just fine in this clamshell connector. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my little 4mm jump ring on, put my chain link on, close it right up. Okay, there's one. Same thing over here. Put my 4mm jump ring on. Put my chain on. Now I've already hooked my lobster clasp on. This is a piece off of a repurposed necklace, so I already had the lobster clasp hooked on and the extender. So, but you would need to obviously hook your clasp, and if you want an extender, your extender on. And just make sure that these are closed up really well, these little jump rings. And there we have it. So let me put this on a form and I'll be right back to show it to you. Okay, so here's our finished necklace. I really like it. It's very sparkly and pretty, and I think it would be really pretty for New Year's, just because of all the sparkle. My camera would focus. There we go. But yeah, it turned out really good. I'm going to do a pair of earrings, I think, as well. Oh, you know what? I should not have turned that camera that way. Sorry, guys. I just made you all seasick, didn't I? I was trying to, I was going to get a picture. Like, I'm not thinking straight right now. But yeah, I think it turned out really pretty. I love these pyrite chips. They're absolutely beautiful. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I will be doing more tutorials with this bead box from Sam, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, if you want to subscribe to Sam's Box, I do have a $5 off coupon. I'll link that in the description box below. So you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.